You have a city water fill port right here. Grab your hose. Make sure that you have the little inline filter installed on the city water port fill, and also the rubber O-ring didn't fall off along the way. And then get it in there really nice and snug. Go turn on your water and you'll hear your water tank filling up. Now we're parked at an angle, and inside we have a water pickup meter that tells you your current water level. And since we're at an angle, then that water pickup meter is in the rear, so this is actually somewhat of an inaccurate reading. It's climbing though. Whenever your tank is completely filled, there's a blow-off valve inside, and it'll literally just drain on the floor whenever it's totally full. So you can even walk away for a few days if you want to water you and your neighbor's lawn. And that's the water draining out on the ground outside the vehicle. Now be aware, whenever you disconnect your hose, there's going to be a lot of water in this hose that could spill out on your van. So it's a good idea maybe to disconnect it at the house and try to drain some of this water out. This is a one-way valve that's not going to allow water to come out of the tank through this port, but there is still water in the hose. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the water at the house, drain this hose. This whole process is typically quite a bit easier if you park uphill. That way, if you do get any water drain, then it'll drain backwards out of the vehicle if any spills out. And that's about it. Now, first of all, one of the best ways to, well, quote unquote, winterize your vehicle is to treat it like a house. And in a house, you typically turn on your heater for the winter, as opposed to draining all the lines. This is going to keep, obviously, the water from freezing in the lines because the van can stay warm, but it'll also take better care of your van in the long run, in that you're not going to be going through the hot and cold cycles while the van is sitting outside freezing and warming up. Go ahead and plug into shore power. Turn on your heater by hitting the main button and hit it again so that it gets you to the heater selection icon. Hit it again, and you can set that temperature all the way down to the lowest setting of 47 degrees. Select it, and then go ahead and set the duration down to infinity. And now your heater is set so that it'll maintain the interior temperature of your van at a constant 47 degrees. Better yet, go ahead and install the insulated window covers if you have them around the van, particularly the windshield and front side windows and any other vents that you might have. And that's going to do quite a bit to keep the inside of your van from freezing, keep your battery warm, as well as keep the cabinetry and all the fabric from getting a musty smell from being locked up for a significant period of time. Now here we are in another video talking about how to drain the tank. So we have a lever here that will drain the tank and down through the bottom of the van like we discussed earlier. But in order to make sure that the pump is clear of all water during winterization, as well as all the other lines are clear, on top of draining the tank, you also want to pull the water out of the pump and all the lines, and we'll go over that now. Flip the lever to drain the tank. Go ahead and use your extension here, your spray port hose, and plug that in. You can then make sure to point it out of the van and turn the pump on. You'll hear the pump cycle. That's step one. Now step two, while you're draining out the back water, you can also go ahead and turn on the faucet until all the water's drained out of all the piping from the pump all the way to the front faucet. And whenever you start getting just a trickle, like we're seeing here, then we know that there's a lot of air that's been introduced into the lines, so that if any residual water does freeze in the lines, it's not going to expand and damage the pump or the lines or the faucet. Now whenever your hose begins to run dry and your pump's been on, you can obviously check your water level and make sure that it's 0. You can go ahead and turn your pump off and disconnect your spray port, and you're ready to go. And that's winterizing and draining all the water out of your van. Now some vehicles are equipped with a water warmer system, and with these systems we have discovered that this entire unit needs to be removed if the van is going to be exposed to freezing temperatures without the heater on, and the unit will need to be placed in a warm environment. It is very difficult to completely remove and drain all the water from this unit, and the manufacturer has hence come back to say that it cannot be exposed at all to freezing temperatures. Now we can go through more information directly with you if this is of concern. Ultimately, the unit will need to be removed, and these input and exit lines will need to be capped, very much likely at the fitting that the lines are connected to. Reach out to us directly if that's a concern, and we can walk you through that and give you more instruction.